So all of a sudden I hear, oh God, Henry, like, and then she gets her phone. I go, I'm not touching that phone. Like, you're going to need to open up Gmail. It's a wild ride, and there's so many people outside of our industry who have no idea what a day in our life is like. Hey everybody, it's Noah with the Zone Podcast again. We are in Dallas, Texas over here with Dusk. This is Fraser. I just came all the way out here. Tell us a little about yourself and how'd you get started with solar and everything like that? Awesome. Yeah, Noah, thanks so much for having me. Dusk Solar, I co-founded with my business partner, Jeremy Davidson and Josh Beck. Been fully vertical EPC here in Texas for just over 3 years. The solar coaster that I've been on started in 2018. Small company, probably no one knows about Tesla. Yeah, so I got my teeth cut in on the solar and electrical side just in Tesla's car sales department. And then I switched and transitioned over to be an energy advisor at Tesla until I realized what some of my friends in the solar industry were doing and the commissions they were making outside of Tesla, and made a pretty hard pivot out of Tesla's body of work. But my career started a little bit earlier. I have a pretty unique background. I got involved in working with the International Olympic Committee. I worked on large-scale sporting events right out of college. I actually did the U.S. Open in Pebble Beach, California back in 2010, and I worked in operations logistics, and that kind of put me on kind of path with this company that worked to the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver, Canada. And that's where I'm from. I grew up and went to university in Vancouver, Canada, had a lot of connections in the local market. So my first real foray into a serious job out of college was pretty cool. I looked after all of the acrobats, the ballerinas, the Grand Chamber Orchestra for Russia, for the Winter Olympics. So my job was to show them a good time. And I was like a glorified concierge. I was a local kid from Vancouver. Made sure we went to the best nightclubs, best restaurants. Made sure they didn't even make it to practice on time. Like,
dude, that's
like over.
Perfect. Like, young man's job right there.
I would go to nightclubs and bars where my buddies, I was a rower in college, and all my roommates were big dudes on the football team, bouncers at all the clubs in Vancouver. And I would rock up with, 7 5-foot jack dudes from Russia who were, trapeze artists, and then 10 6'4", Russian ballerina, models. And the good
6'4"?
Oh, yeah. They're big, strong ladies. And I took them through town, and I guess I took them to town. I showed them a good time in Vancouver. They had a great time, and I got put on this kind of weird career path where the company that managed that said, hey, do you want to go work the Formula One in Dubai? And then I went to Dubai, and then I did the London 2012 Olympics, and then I did the Sochi, Russia Winter Olympics 2014, and then I did the Summer Olympics in Rio de Janeiro 2016. I was in the Gold Coast in Australia 2018 for the Commonwealth Games. So all of a sudden I lived out of a suitcase, traveling the world, working on large sport events. There was another time in there where I was in Baku, Azerbaijan in 2015. And that's where I met my partner, and moved to LA to be with her. And that's long, crazy way to get back to working at Tesla was when I moved to LA. But I had been living out of a suitcase for years, working in different events with different teams from different walks of life. And that, I think, was like the catalyst for me starting on the solar industry, by having just this understanding of large-scale operations and events, with a little sprinkling of sales experience. So in a Tesla, when people would come into the showroom and they had a Brazilian accent or they were Russian, I'd just go, yeah, I got that one. And I'd speak a little Russian, a little Portuguese for my time there, and then that would make that connection with the customer. And I think the light bulb moment turned on, where I was like, oh, great. Like if there's a skill set I have, and it's built over, traveling the world for the last 8 years, it's connected with people and being able to talk about favorite restaurant in Moscow, and, oh, where are you from? In Brazil? Fantastic. I was in Bad de Tijuca for 6 months, working on the Rio Olympics.
Such a superpower. Insane.
Yeah, the first one would go, I love it. That's amazing. You go to the Fogo de Chão. I went to the original one in Botafogo and just click. So I think that was a catalyst for transitioning to sales and getting away from the operations, and obviously traveling so much and living in a suitcase, that became difficult. So it's fun.
So do you think traveling the world and because I saw your Instagram, you've been to 80 countries now.
Yeah.
Do you think that has helped with your business and operations, or like you were saying in sales? Which one's helped more?
Gotcha. Great question. I think having the worldview and having been exposed to so many different experiences, I think there's a level of creativity there that I've been able to instill with my partners, and on the operations side, obviously looked after big budgets, a lot of moving parts, and that's what owning an EPC is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of steps in the process for getting a customer to get some panels on the roof that work.
And for those who don't know what an EPC is, just like kind of tell them what it is, because I know I did solar for a while, and I definitely, people threw around that word, and I was like,
yeah,
what's going on right now? So what does it stand for? No.
Totally. So an EPC is kind of this niche construction company specifically for solar, which stands for the engineering, procurement, and the construction of a solar project. So there's kind of a lot of roles and responsibilities, and in solar, the EPC's role is potentially, if they have internal sales all the way through, they work with external sales partners, they receive a contract that's their name, their licensing. Usually they have the financing as well to help someone go solar the most efficient way possible. And they have a bunch of skill sets for doing site surveys, designs of system, electrical line diagrams, procurement of the equipment, financing the equipment, installation of the equipment, making sure the solar project is pushed through so that the local relationship with the utility company is met, so that the system can be turned on and actually operate, and also, of course, then warranting and looking after that system. So it's been built over years to kind of handle a niche market, which is helping homeowners go solar effectively, more niche than maybe just a general contractor or a roofing partner, or someone who, has electrical experience in HVAC, but maybe doesn't know exactly what the rules and regulations are for putting some solar panels on the roof.
Cool. And then we talked about why you kind of made that switch to becoming an EPC. Can you share with them the story? Because we talked about over before we got on here, but definitely share them the story that you had, why you decided to become an EPC and help.
Totally. Absolutely. So I started in sales in solar, and that's, I think, a potentially a unique route. There are people who are very good at sales who obviously then can have some discretionary income from the sales side of things to be able to invest in creating an EPC. And that's what me and my business partner did, fully self-funded dawn to dusk. But we had a sales organization that was successful. And unfortunately, and I'm sure, depending on who's listening to this, probably can relate, we were, in our mind, I'm sure there was things that we did with a little bit of just not knowing the industry as well as we do now. Maybe we thought we handled our sales process really well at a very low cancellation rate. Customers knew what they were getting. I think we were top tier sales reps in solar. And our EPC partner that we were using, unfortunately, kind of let us down time and time again.
And that wasn't the Tesla. This is like a different...
That was a different EPC, yeah. It was local to California. There was a couple different companies that we tried out, and I think we were setting the expectations of the customer the right way, and still just getting let down by not having updates from our partner on the install side, bad quality installations.
Yeah.
We worked with obviously all different ranges of socioeconomic status in California, but one of the straws that broke the camel's back was a very high net worth individual I sold. Built a lot of trust and rapport. He actually is a famous architect, multi-million-dollar home, and the customer had a Rolls Royce. I mean, it was a great home, a great guy. I built a lot of a robust relationship there, and I got phone calls of all the issues and the pictures of flat tires in the driveway because the roofing team left nails in the driveway that popped the tires. That of course came out of my commission. Leaks in the roof. How can I fix it? How can I help it? the solar system never really operated properly.
Was it a Rolls Royce tire?
Yeah, exactly. So I lost money on the job, and I'd spent a long time working that lead that turned in not because it was simply a transactional relationship. I really found so much interest in his experience and his life. He's a Japanese gentleman, so just even the culture. I mean, I've been to Tokyo and Japan. I absolutely love the country, the people. His next door neighbor was a famous Hollywood actor. Was an Oscar-winning actor that I was introduced to, and all of that went up in smoke. Like legitimately, a call at the end of this thing saying, "Love you, kid, but I can't, in good conscience, recommend you to my book of business, my network, my friends, my family." And I just went, "I get it." I said, "I completely understand. I feel like I've let you down." And to a certain extent, I was pretty useless after the sale. You know, the EPC has got to take it from there. I was obviously trying to be a project manager of sorts, but I didn't control the flow of money. I didn't control the quality of the installation, the communication with the homeowner. And Jeremy and I said, enough is enough. Have some funds. We want to do this the right way. We want to exceed. Oh, hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Well timed. Exceeding expectations. We want this can be better. This can be better for everybody. More communication with sales partners. Better experience for the end customer, and everyone should be in a win-win situation. So then we said, okay, great. Well, where are the markets that are ripe for solar expansion? And hey, not to say that we were the catalyst, but 3 years ago, moving to Texas, Texas is now the number one state in the country, in the United States, for solar deployment. Surpassed California. So we're number one in Texas, and a very small part of that is on us. Very, very small part of that solar adoption is from us, but I think we've got a long way to go in Texas. There's a lot of issues with the Texas deregulated market. We had some connections on the operations side. We definitely understood our limitations, but are quick learners, adept at figuring out operations. With Jeremy and I, both of our background and the financial understanding from our CFO Josh, we realized with great hires, with local operations experience, Texas was a great market, and that's why we started our EPC.
So I have a question to kind of go back to the guy.
I know.
A lot of people are probably thinking about that story and being like, how did this guy even meet this guy and the Japanese gentleman? Like, what is your lead process to go find leads? Or at least at that time.
Right. So I would say I have so much utmost respect for door knockers in general who are going out there pounding the pavement. It is hot in California, hot in Texas. I respect the grind. We were in a unique position with the EPC. They actually did offer a little bit of lead gen, an appointment setting. And if you kind of proved yourself as a pretty robust closer that could get the job done at the end of the day, they actually said, somewhat of a, we'll take a draw from your commission, but we want to keep you busy. We know that your time is better spent inside the home than outside of it. Right. So I was propelled with my partner Jeremy to be their top closers very quickly. So we were getting some leads and some customers, and it was us maturing our pipeline. So Alan wasn't a lead that I was given, but it was a referral from another lead that I got. So pretty wild to get into those neighborhoods in the Beverly Hills market, which is sometimes you have to obviously get through some private gates and security. So a pretty untapped market in a unique way. And that was where I saw the connection of ka-ching. This is a market that I can really attack and have someone in my corner to support me. Yeah. And unfortunately, that went away, and I never sold again in the hills of Hollywood, and moved to Texas. So, I've told this story many times. I had a very great referral network in California. One of my early sales was a fighter captain in California. Okay. So he was in charge of all the fire departments all across Los Angeles. Wow. So I showed him a very good experience, and I babysat that like crazy. I learned my lesson. Yeah. And he was so instrumental in recommending me to a lot of different fire chiefs in the different throughout greater Los Angeles area, talking with firemen who, with overtime pay, make great money. They're all homeowners and have electric bills. So I would get calls and it would, hey, Fraser, this is blank. Give me the Jerry special. And I'd say, I'm on it. I'm on it. You got it. And it was sometimes that easy. So it was really setting the proper expectations, not over-promising, over-delivering on what I could control.
Right.
And then keeping engaged with that homeowner. It's not a one-time transaction. I think a lot of people mistake that in this industry where they're on to the next. Obviously, the cancellation rate in solar has gone a little crazy. We had a very low cancellation rate because every customer matters, and we knew the bird in the hand is better than two in the field. We thought, shoot, we did kind of the hard part, but it's not over yet. We've got to get this customer installed. Yeah. So lead gen was unique in the sense that we got some appointments provided. We made quite a few sales, and then we absolutely utilized that network to the best of its ability.
Have you ever knocked the doors before? Or?
I have 3 weeks ago. Again, in a leadership position, we have lots of sales partners here at Dawn to Dusk.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't ask anything from anybody that I wouldn't do myself.
Right.
I'm a tall, lanky guy. I'm 6'6", and that's like my excuse for being a little like intimidating on the door.
Yeah. I mean, I feel you on that. Yeah.
Over, my back. Can I just sit down? Exactly. I'm just stooped over like this little golem creature. But I was out in Killeen 3 weeks ago with the sales team doing roof and solar with all the hailstorms that come through. And we had some wins and we had some losses and we had some beers at night with the team and laughing about it because it's a wild ride and there's so many people outside of our industry who have no idea what a day in our life is like. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, the things that we do, the things I've seen and been told are out. I mean, we all need to write a book and probably make a longer form podcast or a TV show about in-home door-to-door sales.
Hey, let's get right into it. What's been your most craziest customer interaction?
I mean, a couple come to mind. I don't want. Oh, yeah. If it was a 1:30 or 2 o'clock solar appointment scheduled by a woman in Los Angeles, I'd go to some of these appointments, and I'd be opening the door, and you don't know what you're getting yourself into. And there were a couple of times where a woman would be not interested in solar, but maybe something else. I don't know how to say it anymore, politically correct or PG than that, but I would go, oh no, what's happening here? So I'm here to talk about your energy bills. And they said, yeah, that can wait. And you're like, no, sudden. The husband's walking in the back door and is like, are you guys? And I'm like, what? And clearly the husband was there to hang out and see if something's going to happen. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you think like he was like out of a TV show with like being the pizza delivery boy. So that was crazy I
not a TV show, a very special TV show that you can only find on a website.
So the craziness of it all. I called my boss and I was like, hey, I need to get out of here. He's like, what's the disposition for this? I explained the situation and they just laughed so hard. I could hear all the guys in the office burst out laughing, saying, do what you got to do, Fraser. And I was
man.
No, guys, you're not here. You're not seeing what's going on. They say pictures didn't happen. So, I mean, that was insane. I sold to a lovely woman one time who had a bunch of urns of all of the deceased family members laid out on the kitchen table. So there literally wasn't. We were moving urns with all of their ashes of all of her family like around on the kitchen table to do paperwork, and she's crying on my shoulder, and we're having this emotional experience. Oh man, this goes so left field so quickly. It comes down to signing docs, and she had been a nurse with United Healthcare for 30 years. I mean, successful. It was a nice home. She qualified, great credit. I said, great, and what's an email address that we need to use? And she said, oh, I don't have an email address. I was like, okay, peculiar, bizarre. we need to check, obviously, I need to send paperwork to, this is all with signature. There's nothing done by hand anymore. And she was like, okay, well, my son has an email. Can we use that? I said, sure, no problem. What would that be? And she goes, hold on, let me go get it. And she goes into the back room where her son was in the room, and she caught him watching porn. So all of a sudden I hear, oh God, Henry, like just screaming in the back room, and I'm on the porch because we couldn't even open my computer with all the ashes and urns on the kitchen table. Oh, this is so crazy. So I'm outside listening to all this and just going, God, put that away. Give me the phone. Give me your phone. She comes out into the porch, and it's, still playing on the phone. And she's like trying to swipe out. She put her glasses on, trying to swipe out of this. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so cringe. She finally swipes out, and then she gets her phone. I'm not touching that phone. You're going to need to open up Gmail. So there is a customer in California with, it might have been Sunlight back in the day, with a Sunlight loan sent to a lovely professional woman in her mid late 50s. And the email that we sent to was takeoldbiddies69@gmail.com.
Oh my goodness.
So that I said, say that again now. And she was telling me her son's email address, and he, what's your email? And he's yelling out, how do you spell that? And I'm just sitting there going, what is my life? What is my life? So, I mean, it's hilarious. Obviously, I've been told stories from our sales partners that are even more outrageous than that. And, you try and have a level of professionalism and a level of connecting. I sold to a lot of homeowners and made a great connection and had many a meal. Lots of, hey, let's celebrate this, and lots of beers over a bonfire. I've been at, okay, there's another one.
Lay it on me.
Yeah. No, lay it on me. Let's go. Had a customer who was a doctor.
Yeah.
Cash payments, so progress payments along the way. And, again, these are so outrageous and far-fetched. My business partner, Jeremy, was with me on this last one to collect the last final check. And it was a big system, expensive with some different add-ons. I think we were picking up a $40,000 check, last one to wrap up. And as he is in his kitchen, on the kitchen table, writing the check, as he is writing the final check to the company for $41,200, it's hot. It's a humid day. It was warm inside the house. He starts to do this, drops the pen, and faints. And he's falling back. And as he's falling back, he is going to hit his head on the side of the kitchen counter and kill himself. Like, he is going to die. I jumped across the kitchen table and caught his head before it hit the edge of the diamond, the marble tabling he had. I mean, I literally, the corner went right in the back of my hand, and I cradled his head and almost brought him down to the floor. And he had a beautiful Labrador. I'll never remember like it was yesterday. The lab is barking, comes running over, and thinks something's happening. We're calming down the dog, and this guy, I'm holding his head. He completely fainted. And he came to pretty quickly, and he's on the floor, and I'm hovering over him. He's like, what happened? I was like, sir, like, you just fainted. Are you okay? Like, let's get some water. And Jeremy's just standing there, just looking like, oh my God, we almost saw a guy just die in front of us. Wow. I mean, imagine that phone call to 911. The guy's got a big bloody gash in the back of his head, and he's midway writing a check to me for $40,000. I couldn't imagine. So he comes to, and we give him some water, we sit him up, and I get a cool damp cloth and I pat in his forehead, and I'm like, and just make sure trying to be as respectful as possible, just thinking, oh no. Oh, this poor guy. So, I mean, yeah, we've saved lives in solar.
There you go.
There you go.
Saving lives out here, slinging deals in San Jose.
I tell you. So, respect the hustle, respect the game. And it's the most unique thing I've ever done. I've motorbiked through northern Vietnam. I've been to the favelas in Rio de Janeiro. I've done some cool stuff that I think in-home sales is the most unique thing that can give you a pretty unique perspective on life.
Yeah, man. I'm thinking I'm because I'm interviewing a lot of the people who are having a similar experience, like all these different crazy customer interactions. I'm honestly, I think I'm just going to make a playlist of like little clips of like crazy customer interactions. That's coming soon. That's coming soon.
Yeah, there's a lot of content coming your way.
Yeah, dude, that is an insane story. You literally saved somebody's life and then another take all whatever it was. Take all biddies.
Yeah. And I thought Sunlight's going to, flag this.
Yeah,
it's a joke.
No flag?
No.
You'll go through.
100%. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. Insult.
Yeah,
I thought you made it into those tickle bitties. It's all in there. It's done.
Yeah.
It's done. All right, we're gonna go to a more that spot where it's a little not serious, but like a little more tactical, real quick. In general, I mean, it's all exciting, everything like that. It's an insane life being in sales and business. What are some reasons why somebody should not get into like solar?
Great.
Yeah.
The first thing I would say, just in what sales or in sales. In sales is the big word is rejection.
Mm-hmm.
And this comes with other things that I think I've matured. So I feel like I'm very much an old man now. Totally. But I think on self-reflection of understanding yourself, rejection is a part of life.
Yeah. But
But in sales, it's absolutely pronounced.
mm-hmm.
I know people who are pretty even-keeled across the board. You don't know if it's their best month in sales or their worst month in sales. They're just such an abundance of overconfidence of who they are. If you are getting into sales, it is absolutely a grind, and you have to rely on yourself and creativity. But so if you are someone who gets pretty dejected and has some pretty aggressive mood swings based on the highs are high and the lows are low, I don't know if sales is for you.
Yeah.
I think being super calm, cool, and collected is so valuable, like in general, in life. Again, you can learn so much from sales.
Yeah.
There's so many great quotes, and definitely I didn't make any of these up, but I've captured this from other people along the way, is everyone's selling every single day.
Right.
You know, in a transaction, there's two people selling. You know, if you don't sell a customer, they sold you on why not to go solar. And if the customer is going solar, you sold them something that they can buy into, they can believe is a benefit to them and their family. Mm-hmm. So in every shape and form in life, someone who's good at sales, I think, will be successful because there is rocky patches in life. And if you can handle people in a unique way, your life is just a little less rocky. It's a little more fluid. And if you have interactions on a day-to-day basis where there's conflict and escalations, just some simple day-to-day things, then you're not good at sales. Because my life, I deal with a lot of responsibility. We have expenses, payroll, cash flow, people who depend on me and my business partners to do the right thing day in, day out. But our days are more fluid than they should be with all the things going on, because we can navigate through life, be a little more dependable, a little more fluid. So I think the people who shouldn't get into solar are people who are maybe overly emotional, because it is a challenging career to have. You have to really depend on yourself, and you have to go through life a little more fluid and a little more even-keeled than the average person.
So, weird turn, but I got a question that came up from that. Do you think sales is... I know that sales is pretty much masculine dominated. Do you think that's because of the reason for the emotional ups and downs that usually women have? But at the same time, I've seen a lot of content coming up recently. I've met some good sales women. Like, what's your opinion on that?
Oh, yeah, interesting. I think that some of the best people I've interacted with and some of the best sales partners we've had have been women run, because I think of connected with the homeowner. So the relationships that I think women make are way more profound than maybe the superficial, artificial relationships. I'm gonna call it the shoulder bro, but I no disrespect, but someone who is cruising through town, got to get my numbers in, thank you very much. Signed here. Cool. Deuces. Got to go to the next one. I just, again, high cancellation rate. What are you doing it for, man? Like, I don't understand that business model as much as maturing and developing that relationship and having that book of stable referrals that are coming through. I think women are much better at that than men. We have quite a few women-led staff here at Dawn to Dusk on the operations side. My director of operations, Hillary, is fantastic. She has 3 great kids who are doing 10 different sports each, and she gets the job done, and she runs a crew of mostly male-dominated staff. And I think her ability to connect with everyone and the communication style is a big benefit. So the emotions of the day are a massive add-on for her. For somebody to make that connection with the guys, hey, it's hot out there. Everyone making sure they're taking a break. You guys okay up there on the roofs? We've got a busy week scheduled up. I want you guys to enjoy your weekend, but we're back at it Monday morning. So things like that, she's excelled at. My permit specialist, Monica, she deals with HOAs. And I think like somebody doing blanket responses and emails to HOAs, and not getting to know the person behind the email and maybe calling in and having a connection, and she's got a lovely voice and she can connect with people, and we speed through our permits in the HOAs all because of her. My customer support specialist, Brittany, she answers every single time the phone call rings, and people usually don't call when they're having the best experience of their life, right? It's usually an escalation. So Brittany's ability to connect with people and her emotional IQ gives her the ability to answer a phone call where someone's at a 10.
Right.
Hey, what's going on with my project? Hey, this is Brittany with Dawn to Dusk. How are you doing today? I see here in my records that we actually sent you an email 2 days ago for right signatures for you to get permission to interconnect. Let me help you find that in your inbox. Will that be okay? Oh yeah, okay. So that's what I got to do? Yep. Yeah. Send that to you 48 hours ago at 6 or 7. Hey, it's this automation thing from Encore. It probably came in early in the morning, got stuck behind a couple of those, Candy Crush offers or something random, and then all of a sudden the coolness, the calmness factor is been a real massive benefit. And then our person who works on a lot of our onboarding and our marketing in Virginia, again, we have a lot of females in our Dawn to Dusk pool of employees, highlighting that they've got an incredible skill set and they bring a different outlook to a male-dominated industry. So yeah, I think there are so many different unique outlooks on life in different positions for them to be super successful. So yeah, I think it's gonna become more, I think, female pronounced in this industry.
Correct.
Just because there's so many people right now in leadership roles that are women that are kicking ass. That makes sense. And I'm all for it. We're happy that we're championing people right now.
So you think it'll, because you said an interesting piece there where most of the women in the industry are in those organizational spots, like more operations side.
Yeah.
And it just makes more sense. And then for in the sales side, they do have that unique differentiator. It's like they have that differentiator, you come into the door, you have the differentiator of being around all these different countries, and then you bring that to the door. That's just one of their unique differentiators that they can use.
Yeah.
It isn't because I can see how some people can come from a place of, oh man, well, women are trying to make more money. We're in that spot where oh shoot, are guys not supposed to be in sales? And I can see that outlook that some people could have, but I guess it's just operations and just their own unique.
Yeah, I think I've seen, and we've had a couple come through Dawn and Dusk, and maybe this is a follow-up to just the churn and burn approach. We had some great female setters at some of our sales partners, and again, I'm very entrenched in our sales partners' process, keeping up with what they're doing. If there's anywhere that I can support or give some advice to, not overstepping my boundaries, just, hey, I've seen it all, done it all before. Can I offer any assistance? There have been great female setters who have come through who I think are very discerning at the doors. very approachable at the doors, you know. I can imagine, you know, my partner, she's a small lady herself. If I'm here, you know, in Texas and she's at home alone, if a big dude knocks on her door, I wouldn't feel comfortable with her answering. It might be the sweetest, nicest guy in the world, but probably just like, that's why we got the Ring camera. Hey, how can I help you? Hey, I'm here for X, Y, and Z. And, you know, again, then that's where the conversation starts. But if she's at home and a person like her knocks on the door, I think she would feel more comfortable answering. So maybe there's a skill set there, just an advantage, and that's life, you know. I got into rowing because I'm a tall, lanky guy, so that's my advantage, and I utilize it properly, and more power to you. If you're a attractive young girl who is confident and can make a connection, I think you are definitely going to be set up for massive success in this industry. Setting appointments, which is right now super highly valuable, because being in the door is sometimes harder than sometimes getting in the door is harder than the actual close, I think, in a lot of ways. So getting an interested buyer, because you discern them, you know, and you're calm, cool, and collected, and polite, and sweet, and non-threatening on the door, I think that's a value add that a lot of women have.
And then what do you think the value add for men are in the, like, maybe my brain immediately goes to like setting is a better spot for girls, and I think it should be half and half when it comes to commission, which a lot of people do. But it's like the utilization is best sent there, and then maybe you think the closing is more for.
I don't know. I don't know, probably even have enough statistics on that, on how many women are in the solar industry or just in home sales in general. I think that there's so much value on a good solid appointment now that there should be that profit split model. I absolutely think that's accurate. I think it's a harder job to go in 105-degree heat up and down some neighborhoods, making connections with the homeowners to see them again. I was always a firm believer, if I set an appointment and I made a connection on the door, I'd probably, you know, there's that whole thing about power dynamic. The closer is, I'm sitting like, oh, I can't answer that, but boss person, boss man, boss lady, they can come and take care of that for you. I always wanted to make that connection, then go myself and close it, because I'm already paid. Hardest part of my job is time management. Time that works for you and time that works for me. I have the time at 6 p.m. tonight. If you're game, I'm game. Zero obligation, zero pressure. Let's see what we can make happen. Yeah, cool, sounds good. Adding a different element, a new person to make the connection all over again, sometimes that's a complication you just want to avoid.
Wow. And that's something that that's an opinion I haven't heard before in a while.
Sure. Yeah, I get it. And the setter closer model became very popular, and there's a reason why it did, and there's structure to that. I think the churn and burn of door-to-door sales, men and women in general, is pretty high. If you get out there and you grind and you don't see really success in the first 2 weeks, you're probably going to drop off. Consistency is something that's so important in this industry.
Yeah, and then going from the part where it's like, hey, like a lot of people, like how sales is, and there's a lot of content being created for it and business and everything like that. Here, there's so with everybody kind of flexing on Instagram and doing all those sales things, for a guy that's looking that maybe he's 18, 17, what would you say to the younger generation that wants to strive for that?
Great. I think who you work with is so important. This comes maybe back to just, I've been on the roller coaster exclusively with my business partner, Jeremy, the whole time. There's so much trust. There's so much, built real life experience together. If I was new to solar or to any of the industries that we've gotten ourselves into, I now own a successful business with a big fleet of vehicles, warehouse staff, expensive software from the guy that I, started in door-to-door sales with in the sales room, going through boot camp together, learning about solar. If I was to start all over again, I couldn't have done it without meeting him. So if I was new to solar, I would want to connect to the partner with someone that is ethical, moral, doing it the right way, not doing it for clout, not doing it for Instagram likes, because that is pretty artificial. You know, there's some great people out there putting out some great content, and it's interesting because obviously I'm now an EPC owner. I've got a lot of experience in sales, but I get jobs installed. That's my day to day. I think there's not even a real interest in, like, if I were to go through my day to day talking with either vendors, going over cash flow, going over did we renew all of our insurance. I don't think that's flashy or sexy. It's very important, and it's obviously a skill set that a lot of people don't have, which is juggling all those balls together. But if you were just to get into sales today, it's partnering with the right people that they know that they have your back, and they're going to put you in a position for success. Because there's all the sayings in solar. If someone doesn't owe you $100,000, are you really even in solar? What a bummer of a thing to say. But unfortunately, that's so pronounced. And if you partner with the wrong company, if you partner with someone who's going to be in it for a good time, not a long time, you're setting yourself up for disaster on day one. Yeah. So it's the.
I'm just let the guy go outside with. Oh, she's about to cook king.
Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha. Hey. Well, we are just in the middle of something.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
I apologize. Okay.
No, okay.
Thanks,
man. I appreciate it.
Well, that's amazing that he came through
Right there. That's door to door right there.
I respect it. Like,
That's door to door right there.
Literally our spectrum business.
I would keep that. I want to keep that in. That's awesome.
We
Yeah.
just got
We just got we just got door
Who do
knocking.
you think you are?
Like, well, there you go. Like that's right there. Holy
I tell you,
crap.
that was not planned.
No, that wasn't.
That was not
No,
planned.
no. That guy's doing Spectrum business. I actually just sold against Spectrum yesterday. So there you go.
Good stuff.
Again, so I should have got his card.
See, he's looking at different programs to his arsenal.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is crazy to even happen. What do you think the biggest problem business owners experience?
Gotcha. So, solar's a pretty small world. Like we all kind of know each other, and I would, in a weird way, I have a lot of respect for all of our competitors, because really the biggest competitor is a utility company, and anyone who's crazy enough to try to become an EPC, you gotta love the gumption and the oomph that they put into their business. And I know a lot of EPC owners, and we have some offsite meetings yearly. We've been on Facebook groups. We've talked to each other. In a weird way, I thought it was always going to be cash flow issues. It was going to be obviously jobs not getting funded, issues with AHJs on requirements for ever-changing landscape for what's approved and not approved by some inspector in a city that hates your guts or hates solar or hates his life or had a fight with his wife last night and doesn't want to pass your inspection. I thought it was going to be pretty day-to-day mundane things. And in a very bizarre twist of fate, when I talk to a lot of these companies, they're some of their biggest issues, and maybe we all have our therapy sessions together. Maybe that's it. They mentioned many, many times that one of the biggest challenges they face daily is not getting along with their fellow C-suite, business partners. Either think they're being cheated or scammed by a partner, or they got pushed out of a deal, or they, don't trust the way they're handling business, or being, greedy, profitability, like shielding profit from the rest of the company. I mean, the stories I heard were so eye-opening to me, because that's so not what's going on here at Dawn to Dusk. We have a pretty incredible relationship with my two co-founders, and the level of trust is so high that we all know we're doing everything in our power to make this company a success. So weirdly, the biggest issue that I've heard from other partners, and I was surprised to hear it, was simply in-house fighting. Just two different directions, not being on the same page about things, ego, greed. Maybe those are just simple factors, but of all the other stuff we got to deal with on a day-to-day basis, it surprised me that more and more of my fellow EPC owners were just having issues with not trusting the people they had around them, which was, I think, was quite surprising. I thought it'd be more mundane than that.
And then going a little bit back to, exceeding expectations, I was even put in contact with you guys, and the guy that put me in contact, the ninja. He always just, even from the moment I met him, he was just like, Dawn to Dusk, do Dawn to Dusk. If you have any referrals, put Dawn to Dusk through. They're one of the, he just kept saying, exceeding expectations. So, what are the different things that you do to differentiate yourself in the solar landscape?
Yeah. First off, he's the best. There's some real champions of ours in the industry, which is awesome. And we thank him for putting us in touch. Obviously, Noah, that's great. And the thing I think that, and again, trying to be simple, not go into detail about how Monica is really good at permitting, and we're more efficient, and we do things in tandem, and our CRM is really robust, and we have a lot of automation. Those are all things we can get into, absolutely. But the simple fact that Dawn to Dusk has prided itself on is, I think, this proactive approach. I'm an ex-athlete, hyper-competitive, travel the world working on big-scale operation events. I couldn't go to bed at night. I was stressed out of my mind if I had something in my court and something was waiting for me. So we have exceeding expectations is one of our mantras, but also leaving the ball in the other person's court before you go to bed at night, I think is really valuable. So we have a pipeline conveyor of what a job going through the pipeline looks like for solar. And if the job is in your stage in the pipeline to our employees, they have a real interest and understanding that I want this customer to have a great experience. I want to get rid of this customer. I want them to be out of my stage. I did my job, handoff, executed all the subtasks. It's on to the next person. You take from here. Design's been done. The site survey is completed. Photos uploaded. We looked at the design. Things match. Cool. Next. Everyone's trying to push the job through. That is a foundation that we're built on. It doesn't happen overnight. It took a long time to work that out. So I think the small thing about that is just a team all working towards one goal, or again, being a nerd, rowing in the same direction, rowing in the same boat, being in consistency with each other. Another simple thing that I think really does separate Dawn to Dusk from some of the other companies out there is we answer the phone. That might make no sense, or might have to expand on that.
Yeah.
But there are so many people out there that are scared to answer the phone. Opportunity rings, answer the phone. Problems happen, answer the phone. Don't shy away from hey, Dawn to Dusk Solar, we're not perfect. Absolutely not. But how you react to those problems is really important. I'll say it. I'll tell you the story. We had one of our electricians on a roof step through some insulation and put us through the drywall, the sheetrock, the roof of the younger child's bedroom. And I'm saying this, it's not great. If that was a big company and 6-7 managers needed to A-OK the expense of fixing that roof and getting someone out there to fix the drywall and plaster over there and make it all look nice and put a fresh slab of paint on there, that would be a long, lengthy process. It would probably be a lot of people who needed to sign off on it, and the customer has a bad experience. And that sales partner who sold that deal is getting calls from the customer. There's a bunch of insulation in the hole in my roof, under the attic. That happens. We check to make sure that our staff are okay. Just put his foot through, caught himself, but damage was done. He's okay. He's fine. Checking up. We read an incident report. We find a way how that doesn't happen in the future. But we've got somebody that specializes in drywall repair out there in 45 minutes repairing it. Calling the sales partner, hey, FYI, this happened on the job today. It's already been handled and fixed. Wanted you to know. Hey, thanks, boys. Click. That's our MO. That's what you get with a company where it's small. We're not the big guy. We don't have a lot of people who need to sign off on things. We had a mistake. We reacted to it. We answer the phone. People shy away from conflict, from issues that happen on a job site. It's just construction at the end of the day. There's a lot of moving parts. If you can consistently answer the phone and be, hey, I have a referral for you. Hey, this is one of our finance lenders, is fantastic to us. They actually recommend sales partners to us frequently.
because they know that we submit good, clean deals to get installed and funded, which is, again, the home goal of solar.
Yeah.
The things that separate us is answering the phone and having just a fully internal, working on the same page, understanding of being proactive and trying to get ahead of problems before they become problems, try and offer that value and over communication to our sales partners. People come over to Dawn to Dusk and they worked with another company and they couldn't get someone on the phone, couldn't get someone to respond to an email. I would challenge for the people who are going to view this who work with Dawn to Dusk, they joke sometimes, they think we're robotic. You know, Jeremy is hyper responsive to the point where someone messages someone in their dedicated Slack channel. Good question about CoStar's buyback plan. How should I size the system? It's like beep bop boop, you know, almost you'd think it was AI, but it's Jeremy and his encyclopedia knowledge of solar in Texas responding. Hey, thanks so much. That's helpful. Gonna use that. I'm gonna either add a battery or reduce the system size a little bit for daytime consumption. Those are things that come with time and experience, but it's just showing up all the time.
So you talked a little bit about AI there, and like, what softwares do you guys use and utilize over here? I found best.
Yep, great. So for proposal tool, we have Aurora and Subcontractor Hub. SCH is a new platform it's actually fantastic, very robust, really efficient to use, quite user friendly. On the CRM side, we are big fans of Copernic. Yeah, it's a new one. It's really been built and dedicated to solar, but we've been a early adopter of them. We worked with the owners of the company. They're in the Y Combinator, so they've really got some smart people over there. So we're really proud of our relationship with Copernic. Customer portals, we're a fan of Bodhi. Bodhi allows us to interact with homeowners through kind of a dedicated text chat portal that's really easy for them to use. Again, a lot of these companies that are in solar have 5 or 6 customer support specialists throughout different emails, different phone numbers. Maybe they're not calling from a dedicated line. The homeowner doesn't know how to get back in touch with the company. Maybe that company doesn't answer the phone. Is it an email from it's lost in the inbox? We found that having a special place for solar-related questions for the homeowner has been really helpful, so that they're not on an island getting ping-ponged, from all different directions. It's just one communication flow with like a dedicated app. So we're really happy with that flow.
Okay. And then do you have any personal softwares that you usually use to keep you efficient, effective?
Oh, great. Yeah, totally. Big shout out to Slack. I've got 200 plus channels in Slack, and it does help organize a lot of things. Our backdrop, we use Google, Google Business for a lot of our tools and apps and our drives, and it's really efficient for all of our different partners to jump into. For organizing your inbox, and I'm not the best at this, so I'll put my hand up. We get hundreds of emails a day, if not thousands. Superhuman. Superhuman is an app to kind of make your inbox a lot more efficient. So it kind of helps filter the bad and put the right emails that are important in front of you in a much more efficient way.
Say that one again.
Yeah, one of the tools that we use for organizing our inboxes is Superhuman. Superhuman. We'll put a link.
That's interesting. I've never had. I honestly want to try that.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Jeremy is a huge proponent of it. He got most of our company on Superhuman. And just throw it in your inbox. Again, I'm not sure how many unread messages you have in your Gmail or whatnot.
6,000 maybe?
Totally. Yeah, it makes sense, right? Our lines are crazy. Jeremy would have 12 in his inbox. 14,000. I think I'm probably close to like 22,000. Before Super. And now it's really organized.
Now you become the superhuman.
Yeah, exactly. But it's technically a membership per month. And it organizes your inbox and gets the most important things front and center, and all the other stuff kind of gets removed for you. For easy, clean mind. So when you start in the morning, everything's new. You're not going, I saw that, I doom scroll through my emails, last night at 11 p.m. Did I respond to those two? Now they're behind 200 emails. I'll never get to it. Yeah.
Isn't that what the spam feature is supposed to do anyway?
You think, but it doesn't. You think spam doesn't do what it needs to do.
Yeah. And I'll kind of wrap things up, but I just wanted, because you recently posted something about 4 days ago. It says, I'm producing solar like I'm supposed to. I'm in the buyback program with my electric company, and it truly does work. I can't sing their praises enough. So that was a review from one of your customers?
That's right. Yeah, that was actually, she went to BBB and posted a review for us, which was obviously fantastic. The Solar Ninja, that was one of his customers, so shout out to him. And that customer had an existing solar system that did not work properly, and the expectations with the customer were not set properly. So Mr. Ninja didn't even start on ground floor. He started in the basement, with having to help this homeowner get to a place of trusting again. Solar's a scam. Solar doesn't work. And what that, I think, long-winded message that she wrote was her just effortlessly blabbing out everything that she had experienced in solar. She had a really bad experience in solar before us. And then we had a really great sales partner set the right expectations, help fix the solar system that wasn't working. We had to do some interconnection paperwork for her and kind of take on some of the mess from before to get her solar the right way with a new add-on system to fully offset her bill. So when she said something like, I'm producing the way I'm supposed to, is if you are a sales rep and a customer needs a 10,000 kilowatt system and you sell them a 3 or 4 kilowatt system that's going to produce with a good sun factor 6,000 kilowatt, you're lying to the customer. The system's not going to take care of the customer's needs. And so sizing the system properly is so important. But then explaining how buyback in Texas works is so important, because it's not a simple process. There's different solar buyback programs that homeowners can utilize, but they're going to have after solar bills in a lot of cases. And Mr. Ninja's been around the block. He knows what he's talking about. This customer has a negative bill because it was oversized, to be honest, to help the homeowner build those credits. They've sent us negative bills. She is now a champion of ours, referring customers and referrals and friends to Mr. Ninja, and that is solar the right way. So we champion that because, again, we've now got lots of customers under our belt at Dawn to Dusk, and our reflection on reviews online is still pretty middle. It's tough to. People will tell one friend if they had a good experience. People will tell 10 friends that they had a bad experience. That's one of those sayings. And I think the reputation is built in 5 years. It's ruined in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And for that woman to spend 20 minutes of her life going and logging in, I don't even know how to get on the BBB to write a review or something like that. We've got a few fun ones. A customer whose dog ripped off the antenna off of an inverter and, complained about us to the BBB. And then we responded that your dog ripped off the antenna. We put the inverters where we have to for compliance. We can't put it 10 feet up in the air. So this greyhound dog that you have that goes on his back leg is 8 feet tall. So it starts chewing on the side of your, anyway, BBB is a fun place for sure.
Yeah.
There are tough customers, but there are also customers who've had a tough experience.
Yeah.
And for her to highlight that she had a great experience and we did what we had to do, we obviously really appreciated that.
Yeah. So the customers speak for themselves and the referrals speak for themselves.
Absolutely. It can be easier, right? Solar can be easy if customers are set up properly, they save money, sales reps make good money, the solar APC is profitable so that they can continue to offer good service to all their partners, sales partners and customers. And it takes a lot of people being right together. Mm-hmm. And if there's a weak link and the sales rep oversold the customer, lied, cheated, there's a weak link if the EPC is disorganized, the install timeline takes too long, the installers smoke cigarettes and threw a cigarette butt in the gutter and the house catches on fire. Those are weak links in the process. And you also have to have a customer who understands this is construction.
Yeah.
Things may go wrong, and again, dawn to dusk, if they go wrong, how fast do you respond to them?
Right.
How quickly can you jump in there and fix a situation so that the homeowner goes, it happened, they fixed it, I'm good. It'd be great if it didn't happen at all and it was just a perfect experience. Sometimes things happen, and having a customer understand and just not be so ready for something to go wrong to be like, aha, see, you proved me wrong.
Yeah.
I think there's just a lot of moving parts, and if everyone's on the same page with proactive communication, you're going to be okay.
Cool. Well, you heard it here. What do you have any other final thoughts for everybody?
I got a question.
Yeah, for sure.
This is Gabe, the one that's been laughing in the background and all that.
I have a genuine question. It's a more generalized business-related question, but I'm actually curious. As somebody who owns a company, because you were reflecting on how you have, staff and a warehouse and everything, what was the most challenging month of owning a business, juxtaposed to the most satisfying month of owning a business?
Wow, coming in hot. Yeah, that's great. That's really great.
Yeah.
I think the most challenging month of anyone's business. Maybe I'm really off on this. Other company owners, go, what? That's weird. But I think there was so much excitement in our first month in business.
Yeah.
And there was so much nerves. Like there was so much intensity of, okay, we have cash reserves, but not that much.
Yeah.
We need to be profitable. We need to hire the right people ahead of time so that when the opportunity arises, we can attack. Because there were people who vouched for Dawn and Dusk Solar, and our reputation means so much to us. We try and do right the whole time. If we started a company and didn't have any employees and didn't have any expenses until the first sales started rolling through, that would have probably made sense. It would have been the smart thing to do. But then when those sales partners who use us for their first deals go, great, we'll get to you. That would ruin our reputation overnight. The people who trusted us with their first sales, I literally told my sales partners, this will be the first, there's always a first, you always remember your first. You're our first customer. This is the first person we're going to install solar inside the company of Dawn and Dusk Solar. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
So Jeremy and I and Josh hired a bunch of staff and started paying them salaries and organizing SOPs before we had our first profitable job come in. So nerves, excitement, bundled up in this ball of like chaos.
Right.
Then Jeremy and I have orchestrated, we're a EPC in Texas, but some special sauce that we have is that we were on retainer consulting for a commercial REIT out of New York with billions of dollars of warehouses, and going over solar feasibility studies and getting into senior high level meetings with people from KPMG on taxation on these large corporations, working with the Department of DOE, Department of Energy. We've been in some cool meetings as a small, somewhat, we're doing it good, but we're a small EPC in Texas. We probably didn't have a lot of
Leverage?
Yeah, exactly. Thanks. Perfect. To be in those meetings, but we were because people trusted us and kind of vouched for us.
Yeah.
We were in a conference the other day in Miami for Sunstone, which is a great finance option for small, mid-size commercial projects. And we're there because we earned our seat at the table. We had also a lot of people who recommended us and refer us and took a chance on us. So that was stressful because of the amount of pressure we put on ourselves to do right by the people who trusted us. Yeah. Then we've had so then when we get these big contracts, and we were in New York and in high-rise office buildings, getting taken out for nice dinners, consulting for a big company, that's when we looked at each other, nudged each other and said, did we make it?
Yeah.
So those are some cool reflections, right? Yeah. It's a roller coaster. There's ups and downs. We've had some really good months. We've had some slow months.
Yeah.
It's how you weather the storm. It's how you know you got your team behind you and next to you, supporting you. That means so much. So yeah, just great in summary, I think, in the level of being down the road.
Yeah.
Not getting rowing analogy again. Not looking at the other boats and where they are in the race. Staying focused on task of what we're doing. We're doing it the right way. We're not going to start shaving corners. We're not start doing the things to either A, be more profitable, or B, do things because we're being forced to. We're going to do it our way with understanding that there's a lot of things to learn, but it's staying even keeled through all this and being consistent and not going through those big emotional upswings and downswings because it's too hard on you.
Yeah.
too hard on your mental and physical nature and being to react all the time with such emotion. You have to be pretty calm, cool, and collected. Yeah.
Well, shoot, on that note, I appreciate you, Fraser.
Yeah, it's real, man.
Other than that, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Okay.
You'll be able to see all of his links down below. We'll get your website on there, your Instagram, everything like that. So check it out down below. All right. Catch you guys. Cheers, buddy. Yeah, it was great, man.
I felt. Yeah. So.
Did you ever? Hey, that's right at 1 hour.